Do everything you can to stop the bleeding.
Welcome to the Hopefulist, a daily talk show hosted by veteran broadcaster Wendy McClure. Join Wendy each day as she shares her life lessons that transformed her from perpetual pessimist to the ultimate hopefulist. The perfect morning show to get you caught up on the day's top stories while sharing insights that will lead to positive transformation and bring out the hopefulist in you. For more inspiration, visit Hopefulist.com. And now, here's your host and hopefulist, Wendy McClure.
Welcome, and thank you for joining me on the Hopefulist. And I'm glad that you are ready for your daily dose of inspiration and positivity. The quote of the day comes from Mark Twain. Against the assault of laughter, nothing can stand. Laughter. It is the best medicine, so I'm going to laugh as I tell you, I failed miserably. I failed. Yes, I am a failure. Apparently, I can't do anything. For 3 days, I did not make it through my juice cleanse. I did make it until 5 o'clock yesterday afternoon. And part of the problem was, as I was going into the freezer that we have outside to get my juices for today, I needed to take them out of the freezer to defrost them and then put them in the fridge. And as I was in the freezer gathering those up, I noticed I had a bunch of lean cuisine dinners. And I was like, oh, I didn't even realize I had all of those. Oh, my goodness. And then I couldn't stop thinking about them for the rest of the day. So I did make it until 5 o'clock yesterday. And I got to tell you, do you know what I think I missed the most? My coffee. I started dreaming about a cup of coffee around 1 o'clock yesterday afternoon, and I just could not get it out of my head. I did not cave and have a cup of coffee. However, about 5 o'clock, I was like, you know what? It's a lean cuisine. How bad could that be? One of the reasons why I didn't give in and have a cup of coffee, which wouldn't have been terrible, is because I knew that once I went off course, it would be hard to rein myself back in. So this is what happened. I had a lean cuisine around 5 o'clock. Then I had some pretzels with cheese. Then I had a couple of cupcakes. Then I had some crackers. I went looking for anything to eat in the house. Luckily, there isn't really anything to eat in the house aside from my husband's dinners and lunch and all of that kind of stuff. But nothing snacky because I tried to make sure I didn't have much temptation when this juice cleanse came around. So that's what happened. Me not eating, not a good idea. Not a good idea. I like to eat. It honestly wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. But once you get it in your head that you're done, you're just done. You know what I mean? So I did weigh myself this morning. I still lost a pound, even though I had a little binge there before bed. I don't know. I've put on some weight recently. I just seem to overnight put on like 5 pounds. And, I know my body pretty well. And if you're like me, you can gain a certain amount of weight and it doesn't really make that much of a difference. Like, your jeans might be a little bit tighter. But once you go over like a 1 or 2 pound, in excess of that, like say, I can probably put on about 4 or 5 pounds and not really feel that much of a difference. But once I get to 6 or 7 pounds, I feel it. My clothes are tight. I feel the tire around my stomach. I just feel the extra weight that I'm carrying around. And that's where I am right now. And I just so desperately wanted to try and get a couple pounds off because I am going away soon. And I don't want to have to bog myself down and worry about putting on even more weight. But this was not the way to go about it. Not for me anyway. Not for me. So this was a big swing and a miss. It's okay. I got through a day and a half. I'm actually pretty proud of that. Oh, and I told my husband when he came in from work, I said, well, I caved. I had a lean cuisine. And he's like, you went a whole lot further than I would have gone. So there you go. I tried. I will try to be more conscious with my choices moving forward. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. I mean, I'm not throwing, caution to the wind now. I'm not going to just, okay, now I'm going to eat everything in sight. No, I'm going to try and still be good. I just have to come up. Obviously, what I'm doing is not working for me right now. So I have to figure out a plan that is going to work for me. I typically do very well in the winter and spring when it comes to weight loss and getting in shape and staying on a routine. But that's a long way off. We still got lots to get through. I've got a vacation coming up. Then there's Thanksgiving. And then Christmas is like a month-long, gorge. And it doesn't have to be that way. But likely at times it is. So, wish me some luck. Keep your fingers crossed for me. I would appreciate that. Just not feeling good about myself right now, And I know that I tell you all the time about your body image and it's not that important and I just don't feel good. I know that I definitely put more stock into my weight than I should. I always have. So it's important for me to try and get a few pounds off. I'm very disappointed in myself, but I'm not going to beat myself up too much. I tried something that didn't work. It's not that big of a deal. So I'm just going to move on with the knowledge that I now have about juicing and the fact it's just not for me. It's just not for me. So let's move on to the topic of the day, which I wanted to ask about your decorating for this time of year. Do you decorate for fall or for Halloween? So basically, are you doing cute or scary? I always do cute because I'm not a fan of scary. I don't really like scary. I do like cute ghosts, cute witches. I love fall foliage. I love fall themes. I like the haystacks and I like the colors, and I love pumpkins, all kinds of different colored pumpkins and gourds and all of that kind of stuff. And a few years back, I was into painting and decorating wine bottles for a while. I have given that up. It was fun while it lasted. I was hoping to turn it into a money-making venture, and it did not pan out. But I got a couple of really cute sets while I was doing it. And one of them was this candy corn bottle set where I painted some wine bottles the color of candy corn. White at the top, orange in the middle, yellow at the bottom. Very cute. They turned out very cute. I actually had a couple of them. Tried to sell them. Nobody would buy them. So now I have one for myself. I gave the other one that I had made away. Turned out really cute. I really like them a lot. And then I have a little cute ghost and then a bunch of pumpkins and little dried corn stalks. And yeah, I love it. I love decorating for fall. Fall doesn't really get its just due around here because I do not give it until Thanksgiving like it's proper, like it should be allowed to be displayed for, because I jump the gun on Christmas. You know this about me. I jump the gun on Christmas because I love Christmas decorations. So hearing from you, do you decorate cute or scary? Kim says, no, I don't decorate at all. I'm not a fan of fall colors. What? Fall colors are my favorite. Love fall colors. I'm very earth colored centric. My whole wardrobe is brown, the deep greens, black, obviously, which isn't really a fall color, but I love the fall colors, the burgundies and the deep oranges. Love it. Marcy says she does mostly cute. Nicole posted a couple of pictures. I love that. Lisa says, yes, I do cute. Nancy says, I do a mixture. I put up the Halloweeny stuff away after Halloween and then leave the fall till Thanksgiving. Fall, says Eleanor, I can leave the decorations up till Thanksgiving. Cassandra says both. Kate says, I'm very minimal this year and I do cute. And Diane says a mixture of both. You know, I'm very minimal this year as well. Just got my mom's. A little late for me this year, and I typically go out and buy a bunch of pumpkins and do like a little display in our little side yard that, people from the road can see. And, time just got away from me this year. And now I just feel like it's just not worth it at this point because it's the second week in October. And in a month, I'm going to be putting my Christmas decorations out. Yes, probably in about a month. Maybe a little more than a month, but soon. So I just don't see the point at this point to go out and spend all this money on pumpkins and gourds and haystacks and all of that. I do have a very, very cute ghost, like a yard sign that I've used the last couple of years. I think he's still there. A couple of them have broken because it's really hard to get these things into the stones that we have in lieu of grass here at the Jersey Shore. Excuse me, I had a cough coming for quite some time. So maybe I'll see if that little ghost is still around. I'm hoping he wasn't the one that had the stick break last year. I've had him for a long time, and boy, is he cute. He is so adorable. Not scary in the least. Some people around here really into the scary stuff. I mean, really. I just started. I don't even like scary books. I had started a book that I was on the wait list at the library for quite a while. And, this time of year, all of the scary books are coming out. Everybody's talking about scary books. And, I like interesting scary, but not downright, ghosts, hauntedness, all of that kind of stuff. So I was starting to read this one book I had waited quite a while for at the library. And within, I think, 7 pages in, they were talking about ghosts and this and that. And I just went, nope, not the book for me. Not reading it. And then, ironically, somebody had posted in my book group saying, does anybody have that book? Because it's really long wait at the library. And I said, I wish I could loan it to you. I borrowed it through my Kindle, so I can't because I'm not reading it. And someone called me a chicken. And I said, you know what? Yep. I am a chicken. I am not reading scary stuff. I don't like to be scared. There. I said it. It's okay. I'm allowed to not want to be scared. So, moving on to the blog post for today. Stop the bleeding. Just look toward the light, not the darkness. We've been talking about getting through hard times or trauma this week, and I wanted to tell you a story about a situation that happened to me last week. I called a local restaurant to order some soup for a gathering I was going to, and when ordering, they wanted me to pay on the phone via my credit card. Now, that's very common right now, not a big deal. As I was giving my number, I realized I was on speakerphone, and I said, do you mind taking me off speakerphone? And the woman took me off speakerphone and then said very curtly, well, I'm the only one in the room. And I responded that there was no way that I would know that. This seemed to annoy her. I used my debit card to make the purchase, which I really do hate to do since it links my actual bank account and can be drained before I even realize it. I saw the charge for the soup right away because I am one of those people constantly checking my account. But by the end of the weekend, the charge had increased another $17. Now, this typically happens when a tip is added at a restaurant. You've seen that before when, the charge goes through at a restaurant right away, and then a day or two later, the tip that you added gets added on. I called the restaurant. I got a hold of a very nice woman who apologized, said someone else would have to call me back to take care of my refund. I got a call a few hours later. It was the woman who had initially taken my order a few days beforehand. She said she needed my card number again to make the refund, which I understand, but I, was still a little hesitant since they already put an unauthorized charge on it. I asked her if she knew why I would have been charged an additional $17. And she said, I don't know, ma'am, but I'm trying to refund you. So can you give me your card number, please? I am not exaggerating with the tone. At this point, I hesitated because I was confused as to why she was being rude to me when they were the ones who put an unauthorized charge on my card. Since I hesitated, she then went even further and said, is there a problem, ma'am? Like I was being difficult. And I said, yes, I just would like to know why there was an additional charge put on my card. She said, I don't know, but I'm trying to refund you. So I gave her my card number, and she did refund the difference. Now, I got off that call feeling very disrespected. I patronized a local business, I had my card abused, and was then made to feel like I was out of line for asking why I was overcharged. There is something about being treated rudely and unfairly that just triggers me. It's still to this day, and I am working on it. I'm working on trying to figure out why it affects me to the point that it does, but it just incenses me. So, in all honesty, I wanted to expose this restaurant for their abuse of my card and how rude they were to me. I wrote the situation out on my community Facebook page because I figured if they were that rude to me after just asking a question I had every right to ask, they would do it to anyone. Guess what? Somehow I became the bad guy in that post. I saw people responding that, well, maybe you were rude when you called to ask about it, and how ridiculous it was for me to expect them to launch an investigation into a $17 overcharge. I never expected an investigation to be launched, but I did expect some sort of answer, especially since she was the one who took my order. And why, other comments said, did I feel the need to bash a local establishment in these tough times? It was beyond me that somehow I was made to feel at fault, that someone abused my card, and then questions of the type of person I was came into it. Still baffled by it. You know what I did, though? I turned off notifications for the post. I made sure I didn't see any more comments since they were just upsetting me. Now, this is a big thing for me. I was really proud of myself. I usually would continue to go back and forth with people defending myself. I usually would hold out for someone to take my side. But suddenly, I realized it didn't matter. I didn't have to explain myself to any of these people. I know what happened, and I know I was treated badly for absolutely no reason other than the fact that they got caught abusing my card. So I stopped reading the comments. They were just upsetting me. I stopped the bleeding. A lot of us tend to do things like this. We ruminate on things that happen to us. We get stuck in our suffering. We go over things in our head over and over, or we read exchanges with people via email or what have you who are no longer in our lives, trying to figure out why. This just continues to hurt us over and over again. I remember when going through a breakup with a boyfriend, going into those groups about breakups. I would read and read about how devastated these people were. I would chime in with my own story and sometimes even start relationships with these people. I mean, online friendships, not like real relationships. It wasn't good for me. Reading about all those breakup stories just kept me bogged down in my own breakup, in my own heartache, in my own sadness. And any relationships I made within this group was based on our shared trauma. It wasn't good for me. It was keeping me in a place I no longer wanted to be. We tend to do things like this so often. We go over a fight with a friend over and over again in our mind. An argument with our significant other or kids, a situation at work where you were treated unfairly. We get bogged down in it and can't think of anything else. We feel the need to prove that we are right. Get out of that cycle. Stop the bleeding. It doesn't matter in most cases that you prove you are right. That is your ego talking, not the part that wants peace in your life. Try to let it go. I know it sucks. I know it's unfair what happened to you. But talking about it over and over again is not going to change it. I always encourage people to analyze what they did to contribute to a situation. After that is done and you still feel an injustice, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. You just have to move on from it. You may be able to take measures to avoid a similar situation in the future, or you may not. But getting bogged down in the unfairness will never help you understand nor move forward. Do what is best for you. Stop the bleeding. Stop the madness. Turn off the comments. Stop hurting yourself. Move on to a happier, healthier, more peaceful place. And with that, it is Friday, people. Happy Cocktail Friday, y'all. Hope you get to grab an adult beverage later. Have a fantastic weekend. Be safe in whatever you do. And as always, be your old badass self. I'm right here cheering you on.
Thank you for listening to The Hopefulist, hosted by Wendy McClure. For more inspiration, please visit hopefulist.com. Thanks, and we'll see you tomorrow on The Hopefulist.
Stop the bleeding and have a nice cold one.